listen, if one day Justin is guilted into foreclosure, then it won't be because we let him do it, you know? We will, we will drag him kicking and screaming into prosperity. Listen, Justin, I get it, man. Like, capitalism bad. We're all on the same page there. But you know what's worse is doing a job for free for a really long time and then watching as capitalism crushes you anyway. Oh, god damn it. Oh, this is bad. Cool room, Edmund. Does it come in fair? Yeah, it took me a really long time. It took me a really long time. Like, I teased Justin, but that's just because there's a part of me that 100% rides the event horizon of that frame of mind. There is definitely a part of me that for the longest time just kind of worked under the assumption that I didn't deserve to be successful or to have things. Generally speaking, because we talked about this earlier, I got a theater arts degree. I didn't achieve great things, and I didn't achieve great education, and I didn't, you know, I never did anything that I felt denoted me as being particularly special or deserving. And I've had to shake that over a course of time, that this sort of like, self-fulfilling prophecy that lives inside my head that everything is going to be bad because, of course, everything's gonna be bad. Like, that was always the justification for me, is like, oh man, everything's gonna be terrible. Everything's gonna fail and fall apart around me. And the only reason that it generally did, if I look back and go, like, deep dive analysis on it, is because I just sort of willed it to. And I've learned, I mean, for crying out loud, we sold pretzel for closer to 8 figures than to 6. Everything doesn't have to turn out bad. Hell, in a lot of instances, things turn out really well for terrible people. So why shouldn't they turn out okay for me? I'm not a terrible person. I generally think of myself as a halfway decent human being. Why shouldn't nice things sometimes also pan out for me, you know? So I have to tamp down that voice inside my head for sure. I have to tamp down that voice inside my head for sure. So I get it. I wish I didn't, but I get it. I would like that very much, please. I was playing Darkest Dungeon for the first time in a while the other day, and I could see that you do self-flagellation to release stress. And I was like, oh yeah, that would be me. I love Darkest Dungeon, but it's too stressful. I'm with El Pablo. The game's too stressful for me. I freak out, the anxiety of it. I mean, for crying out loud, we're just sitting here talking about how I don't do well when I have to force myself to exist in a hyper exaggerated realm of self-fulfilling doomerism mentality. I think my brief stint in Catholicism in my youth and sudden turn into leftism in my teens brewed up a special kind of guilt inside my brain. I remember saying this when we were down at Bell's Island the other day, when I was talking to your friend whose name I can't remember her name, but your friend from New York that came down to Bell's Island with us. Very nice tattooed New York girl. Liz, that's right. And the general takeaway that I have is that, especially since I've decided to eschew organized religion and head towards, you know, atheist or agnostic, depending on which day you catch me and ask me about it. This life is the only life that I get. And if it turns out like 60% worse than it could have, only because I was convinced, like I convinced myself that that's what I deserved. If it turns out like 60% as well as it could have, or 70%, or like, if it turns out to be like, I got a D- or a C- kind of life, and the only reason that it happened that way was because I convinced myself that all I deserved was a C- or D- life. If that truly is like the only contributing factor, you know, say there is an afterlife, and say I get there and I get this, you know, the pearly gates, and St. Peter goes, you know, in alternate universes, you're a multimillionaire and a star. What did you do different? You fucking tried. You tried and believed that you would succeed. Why? I don't know, man. That guy's dad hugged him. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. You saw an episode of the A-Team really early on and it had a profound effect on you, and you were just like, I'm gonna be a badass like the A-Team. My wife grew up with Catholic parents, and now she's a witch. She also has to deal with my Jewish mom since we live with them right now. What are we playing after Isaac? The fucking Antechamber. Jewish mother guilt is rough, but Catholic guilt's the same as Jewish mother guilt, but your Italian Catholic mother also has God and Jesus on her side. Yeah, Amber plowed through some of that Catholic guilt. That shit looks like it's no joke.
The lovers.
I do not... Ooh, I'm doing this very poorly. Hold on. I do not envy anybody who's got to try to make their way into functioning adulthood status. Fighting off that Catholic guilt. Yeah, as a viewer of ours named Veril paid for us to play Antechamber. I don't know anything about it. I literally just installed it last night. I thought somebody had bought it for me, but they didn't, so I dropped 20 bucks on it last night. It looks interesting. I have no idea what's going on there, but I know this from Hitman yesterday. A, some decent TikTok content is going to come out of that. And B is, I am still not a fan of stealth games. I am terrible at stealth games, as it turns out. One of my favorite, Podman, what's going on, homie? One of my favorite Babylon 5 quotes involves taking comfort in knowing the universe isn't fair, because if it were fair, that would mean good things happen to bad people is fair, and bad things happen to good people would also be fair. Yeah, it's totally random, in my opinion. Life is totally random. Where you're born, and who you're born to, and what advantages you do and don't have. All totally random and not up to you. I was born in a pretty advantageous state. So if I have, like...
Soul of Magdalene.
A totally shitty failure of a life, and I get to the very end of it and look around and realize that the overwhelming part of why I didn't have things better for myself was just that I willed that to be through pessimism. I'll probably still fail quite a bit, but I don't want it to be because I just willed it into happening. I'd rather take some stabs. It has a very similar Stanley Parable vibe. Hell yeah, I'm down for Antechamber. Did you like Hitman? It was fun. It was funny. It was funny, but that's because I suck so bad. I suck so bad at stealth games. Hello. Yes. I would like Angel Room deals, please. Reg, good morning, sir. Happy to see you here. Yeah, I'd have to play stealth games on easy. I just don't have the temperament for it. I'm not patient enough. If you work hard enough and are successful, then you deserve the fruits of your labor. That's why I follow you, Taffy, is because you deserve it for your hard work. It's also why I just follow Justin as well. You'll take my appreciation and like it. Going into Antechamber 100% blind is the way to play it. Yeah, I genuinely try to avoid... It's gonna sound funny to say it this way. I try to avoid knowing much about video games for somebody who plays video games for a living, but that's because we have this really cool system built up where chat pays me to play stuff, and it's a more rewarding experience, I feel. I don't know why I did this. It's not like I can really do much else unless I'm just content with... Oh, I've got hearts in the shop. Look at that. It's a more rewarding experience if I don't, if I haven't watched 6 or 7 playthroughs. People get to see stuff happen to me for the first time since they played blank game. Maddie, good morning. Kiba, can you copy pasta that again? I hope you're not on mobile. If you're on mobile, I'll go find it. I feel like that bone heart's too valuable. If it helps, our marriage ceremony was in a pagan temple with prayers to Lilith, first wife of Adam, cast out of Eden because she wouldn't be submissive to Adam as decreed by God. My parents also have to pass by my wife's altar with a Baphomet statue and a Lilith statue on it. But is the food good? Like, that's really what I care about. When push comes to shove. Overwhelmingly, I feel like my opinion of religions of the world is aggressively colored by how good the food is. I wish I had more Jewish friends, and it's not so that I could be like, oh, look at all the Jewish friends I have. But genuinely, it's just because I want matzo ball soup. What's the Uno card? It is... I've always gotten this wrong, so I'll just read it to you. When used, copies the effects of the card, pill, or rune, or soul stone, or active item you used most recently. I just wanted the red heart. We're vegan, so we can't even eat their cooking. Well, I'm happy you're happy, and I don't expect me to show up to... That's not to say that vegan food can't be good. Vegan food can be delicious. And gefilte fish? I didn't say I wanted to eat all of it. I just want to eat... I want to eat my way through each religion's greatest hits. Someday, if we ever meet up, I'll make you a authentic matzo ball soup. Matzo balls and matzo ball soup. I would love that. There's a place called... Shit. Pearly's here in Richmond that I want to try. Justin, there's a place called Pearly's I want to try. I dropped it to you before. You were talking about wanting like a pastrami sandwich, like a Jewish deli pastrami sandwich. Jewish friends in chat, take a look at that. Tell me if I'm wandering into a good situation there. Pearly's Delicatessen and Restaurant, its tagline is, it's Yiddish for delicious. The menu includes the Tel Aviv Trio, the Jewish Sailor, the Jubano, the Shapiro Schnitzel, the Goyve, listen, for the wordplay alone, I am dying to go there. We went to a place called La Possum, and they had little jokes on the menu, and I was like, this food's either gonna be delightful or it's gonna be trash. Because anybody who engages in wordplay in the menu is either so confident in their abilities that they can dick around on the menu, or is using it to compensate for the fact that their food is garbage. And so it gets me excited and nervous when people have got like really funny wordplay in the menu, because I'm just like, man, your food is either delightful, like, for example, like, to frame this, Galaxy has a lot of wordplay on their menu. So I'm either potentially going to one of the best restaurants in Richmond, or I'm going to Galaxy, you know? Yeah, the menu looks amazing. In Detroit, there's actually a ton of vegan options, definitely an omnivore, but known to branch out to vegan food once in a blue moon. I've had some delightful vegan recipes before. To dismiss vegan food as all being bland or terrible just means that, you know, you've got vegan friends who don't know how to season food. I've definitely bumped into some, like, dynamite vegan recipes. Catch. Oh, and I still got hit, and it cost me my eternal heart. Oh, I hope that little rat bastard died in fear. Their Insta looks great. Hit me with those Jewish egg rolls. What did the Jewish egg rolls have in them? Potato latkes. Potato and duck pierogies. Chopped corned beef. Kishka. Sauerkraut served with honey mustard, schmaltz, and amba sauce. I would, listen, we're gonna go to Pearly's and we're gonna fuck this place up, man. Holy shit. You'd make me the happiest goy in the world. It all looks right from a Jewish food standpoint, but I'm curious as there is no mushroom barley soup, which is a staple of good Jewish delis and restaurants. It might just be that they've embraced like their they've embraced like their kitschy modern hipness, you know? That maybe dumping the more super traditional foods that they would consider quote unquote boring in an effort to have more a more hip looking, less geriatric menu. I have no idea. I'm making this shit up as I go, but it's the only thing I can think of to justify it, you know what I mean?
Wild card.
Morning, Taffy. Just wanted to say hi from day 5 of my family's 10-day isolation. Breakthrough cases suck even though my wife and I are fully vaccinated. Symptoms boil down to bad sinus infection, cold, but still, stay safe. And to chat, no, we didn't act all cavalier and always wore our face mask. I guess we were just unlucky. To bonkers, that sucks. I'm glad you were vaccinated. I'm glad that some shitty sinus infection issues were as bad as it got for you. It's still, you bastard! Not you, to bonkers, you're great. I'm happy that what you got is apparently as bad as it is, but it does suck that you just rolled fucking snake eyes. It sucks that you rolled the nat fail there. I'm sorry to hear it. I hope you get well soon. I don't know that there's anything I could possibly do to be helpful, but if there is, let me know. I'll say this, it looks delicious, but maybe not 100% what my grandmother would serve me. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It strikes me as being kind of a hip modern take on your standard, like, Jewish delicatessen or restaurant. But that said, I've never had the traditional take, so I don't really know how to compare it. Oh, no shit. That's sad if true, as the mushroom barley soup is the best Jewish food next to a fully loaded bagel. I don't know if there's, like, a legitimate, like what a great fortune-telling machine that was. That's a metaphor for what I don't want to happen with these two new YouTube channels. Let's just dump 60% of our revenue in it and then have it blow up. Hey, which reminds me. Is it Taffy Plays the command? There we go. Those are the two new YouTube channels. One of them is where all of our VODs of us playing story-driven playthroughs are going to go, and one's specifically just going to be for dope Isaac runs. Man, fuck these rooms. Give me something to be excited about. Isaac, you're killing me here. I want butter if I can get Sword of Damocles. That one spider set out to fuck me. He knew what he was doing. Did you guys just jump through the fire? Are we doing that now? I knew that was there. I'm so smart. I'm so smart and good at video games. Man, I'm tempted. The deck of cards, starter deck is too good. Listen, man, it's an underwhelming item on paper, but I like Brown Nugget. You can take Brown Nugget into a boss trap room, and before you touch the item, fill the room with permanent familiars. Why would you not want that? I like Brown Nugget. It's a very, it's a very case-specific item, but I genuinely think it's a good item. Couldn't possibly be right here, could it? Yeah, Ice Pops, the only apprehension I have about the Taffy Plays channel is that I really would like the content to get up on that faster. Like right now we're pushing out, we're re-exporting and reposting the God of War playthrough from 2018 that was the first ever game that, like, full game that chat paid me to play, not just a one-off. But there's a part of me that I want Persona up there, I want Outer Wilds up there, I want our GTA playthrough up there. And if we're doing about an hour and 10 minutes, hour and a half of gameplay every day, it's gonna take a year for us to catch up to sort of where we are now. Which bums me out. At some point I might have to see, like, it, oh my god. A lot of it's gonna have to do with, like, what Cletus can accomplish without me pushing him too hard. But I think at some point I'd like to get to one old post and one new post a day. So, like, one Outer Wilds post and one God of War post. Or, like, one Ori and the Blind Forest. Neat. One Ori and the Blind Forest post. And one Control post a day or whatever. Thumbnail in the Isaac video is fire. Yeah, that's why I outsourced it. It's because, like, Joanna mentioned Janosch, and I knew where my shortcomings are. Oh, okay, I guess I'm touching that guy. I know where my shortcomings are as a content creator, and I know that I'm stuck in, like, I'm stuck in in a mental place. I'm stuck doing things the way that they're okay for you to do if you're Northern Lion, or doing things in a way that are okay to do if it's 2015. So I definitely knew between Joanna and between Janosch that it was time to bring in a fresh set of eyes, you know? And I have to say, yeah, obviously, yeah, like, Janosch's first thumbnail is, if I can get more eyes on the channels, you know, if I can get the subscribers there and some clicks on the videos, and find myself, you know, getting a pinky toe into the algorithms, with the production value that I'm just gonna say J&J, the J&J are bringing to it, yeah, I actually think it could work. I actually think it could work. We have really good content here. That's the thing that kills me, is that there are definitely times where I see, like, front page of Reddit or front page of TikTok, you know, Isaac clips that people are like, oh, the craziest thing happened to me. And it's like, that's like a Tuesday for us. And it's like, oh, I can play for 1,000 hours and never have this happen again. And I'm like, what, you got 2 strong items in the same room? So ultimately, it becomes my responsibility, either through money or through doing it myself, I think, to try to get our clips to a larger audience. Talking of religious food, here's a picture of standard Norse pagan soup. That looks lovely. Is that cauliflower, or are those dumplings? Brown Nugget's awesome when doing greed or greedier runs. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Aaron, good morning. Thumbnails and titles are so important. Yeah, it's like, see, when I was doing it, Reg, it really was just like, pick a style that works for you and then be consistent with your style. And now, like, the channels that I subscribe to, shush, the channels I subscribe to and the channels that are recommended to me by YouTube generally have very much the same aesthetic going for them. It's a mix of the same variables. It's like Taco Bell food. It's the same 5 ingredients, all blended together different ways. And And I clearly don't understand that very well. I clearly don't get that as well as I should, so there's a part of me that definitely needed to reach out to professionals, you know? Yeah, man, I hear stories about, like... I hear stories about broadcasters who... kind of like Justin... either feel guilty about being successful or feel stigmatized by appearing to enjoy their success. I genuinely found, chat, follow me on this if you can. I like that money, I don't like money like presidential flashcards, you know? But what I do like about money is that it buys stuff. And that, you know, proportionately, most of humanity doesn't just give me things because I like them. You guys do, but you guys are the outliers. The overwhelming majority of humanity don't just give me things because I would like to have things. But if I have the presidential flashcards, then they're willing to give me those things in exchange for my flashcards. And I like that. And I know it sounds real fucking narcissistic to say like, yo, if I could get to 1,000 concurrent viewers, I think I could make myself a millionaire. But beyond just like having an arbitrary amount of money that I wouldn't even really know how to spend if I had it. When you reach that level, man, you get to do things that I can't do right now that I would love to. How would you guys like if the mods were paid? For starters. You know what I mean? Like, how would you guys like to find out that, like, Apocalyptic and Rini and Lisa and Wyatt were all pulling down some part-time cash for hanging out here and doing all the stuff they do for us? Yeah, it's Rini, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like, what, you know, one of the dominant things that lives inside my head is that the more resources that I have, that I've managed to finagle for this channel, the more cool shit I can do for this channel. And it doesn't just mean, oh, well, Taffy just wants to buy a diamond-crusted shitter. I mean, yeah. I would love a diamond-crusted shitter. But it's not just that I want a diamond-crusted shitter. I don't know, man. I find opulence off-putting. But I don't find self-imposed poverty very noble. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want to be opulent or aggressive about like, hey, look at how much better I have it than you normies. But at the same time, like, I've been poor for so long, and I just don't feel like it made me more noble. I just feel like it made me more poor. It made me more stressed out all the time. Yeah, Apocalyptic. I don't know, though. If mods are getting paid, then some mods would have to be removed. It's great for the 2-ish that remain, though. Yeah, I mean, yeah, honestly, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That is something that would have to happen. Is that at that point it would be, listen, if you're gonna take this cheese off me, if you're gonna take this, I'm terrified that Purgatory is gonna break the game, so I just figure I'd grab the other one. If you're gonna take this cheddar off me, then anybody who's taking the cheese is gonna have to earn it. So at that point it becomes, you know, who's a volunteer and who's willing to actually meet a checklist of deliverables every single time. It's all speculative. Sorry, Apocalyptic. I don't have any money to give you. But I'd like to. I mean, that's the crux of it is, I would like to have money to give you. Star Bethlehem basically leads you to the exit on the floor, and if you're standing in it, has the same effect of like standing in a when you get hit and you have the diamond poop.
This is the story.
Right, now it's a job, not a
denizen
hobby.
of the cave.
A lot of people struggle with that in the content creation realm. Not everybody, but I've definitely bumped into some people who legitimately have a hard time with, like, especially like people that I've contracted for stuff before. I've had people in Pretzel and in 99 Lives and in my channel that I've been like, hey, I know you would do this for me as a friend, but I'll give you an hourly independent contractor wage to knock this stuff out. And even when it was like, hey, 10, 15 bucks an hour to do cold emails for me, people like friends of mine here in Richmond or like even Amber were just like, yeah, I'm in. And then they make it like a week and then they just stop doing it. And I'm like, all right, well, like, it's fun while it lasted, but I can't give you money for nothing. Yeah, the mods get paid after the diamond toilet. I'd love to be a paid Twitch mod. I was before, kinda. I was paid in candy bars. I mean, like, I try to offer, you know, I try to offer our mods meals. I try to offer our mods, like, I've bought mods video games in the past. I've bought mods peripherals. Like, you know, sometimes I need them to open up to me about it. But at the same time, like, generally speaking, I like to think that I make people feel valued. You know, but I do get envious. I get envious of people who are doing well enough on Twitch that they can afford to, like, that they literally just go, hey, instead of going, hey, someone clip that, they go, hey, the person I'm paying to be here, clip that. And the person that they're paying goes, got it. Because I'm here and I'm making money being here, so of course I'll clip that for you. What about money for nothing? What about the checks? Are those free? Is it chicks for free or checks for free? I always thought it was checks for free. I always just assumed that that song was completely finance related. Is it chicks for free? Is it chicks? No kidding. Today I learned. I prefer checks mix for free. That's what it'll become. CB Hulk says, I heard that Ko gives his mods a percentage of his tips. I've heard that Ko gives all of his cash tips to mods. That he replaced, man, I kind of want those items, but my money is so much more valuable spent in the angel rooms right now. I'd love to be so financially secure that an entire revenue stream could just go to rewarding the people who support this ecosystem. Yeah, just all the cash tips. All the cash tips that Ko gets now go directly to his mods. So if he has a week where he financially booms and people do it in cash, it just ends up going into the pockets of his moderators. You can't do that when you make it, like, when you're the lone breadwinner for a family of 4 and you're making a little bit more than your dad did 20 years ago. I would love nothing more. I would like, you know, listen to how I treat my graphic designers. I let Joanna and Janosch name their price. It's great that the price that they named for me was incredibly reasonable. But like, you know, if I need your service badly enough that I'm willing to pay for it, I gleefully pay as much as you need to feel appreciated, for sure. I remember when Ko was talking about the Legacy bot, and I was like, yeah, I mean, like, listen, chat, I've got some insight. I don't want, like, not specifically into Ko Carnage, but like, I've got some insight as to what some broadcasters make. You know, I've got insight as to what some broadcasters make. And if I'm sitting here at 200 concurrent viewers, going, man, if I could get 800 more concurrent viewers, I think I could make myself a millionaire. It only serves as an insight to, like, if that's the conclusion I draw, is that, like, if I could get to 1,000 concurrents, I bet I could make myself at least gross pre-tax a millionaire. Then that gives you a rough idea of what I think people who have 10 to 30,000 concurrents every time they go live, what they're making. They're set for life. People that size are set, like, the people whose names we all know on Twitch could stop making content tomorrow and would never have to work again. If they're any good at what they do. If they're any good at managing their money. Which is not to say they all are. Some of them are probably not making an insane amount of money. Really, Tabby? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If they're any good at managing their money, then yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, God, yes. For Christ's sake, Shroud and Ninja in 1 year made more than most professional athletes we can name. With that mixer debacle. Apocalyptic and Pogman both say, I just like helping out. I'm here because I want to be. I mean, yeah, all of you are. And I thank you for it. I couldn't do this to the same level of quality that we do it without the help of the mods. I could do it at a very bare basic version. But the channel existing as it exists now exists that way because the mods elevate it. I couldn't do it this well on my own. Oh yeah, Jay McGee, like 100%, like it remains truthful that way for you get what you pay for. So like you get somebody as big as Carnage who starts paying multiple mods, then yeah, it definitely becomes like a job to them. And what you get out of a mod team starts to become like, oh well, now I have coders who are writing entirely new software just to prop up my stream. Well yeah. I'm willing to bet that he pays his mod team as much, if not more, than I make in a year. And I'm the lead horse here. And meanwhile, Ko's saying if I could have been an owner in a company like Pretzel early on, I'd be making so much more of a killing right now. Nah. I bet. I don't have anything to back this up. This is pure speculation. But I bet we sold Pretzel for what somebody like Ko makes in a year. That said, people like Ko who are savvy, I think Ko's one of the smartest business people on the entire platform. I got nothing but admiration for that guy. We joke around a lot here because of the whole dad joke. Excuse me. We joke around because of the whole Taffy's dad watches Carnage joke, but long story short is that I think Ko's one of the smartest businessmen on the channel or on the platform. He handles himself so well. Have you seen the house that Gathalion bought? Yeah. Gathalion's refrigerator in his kitchen is as big as my kitchen. Gathalion's got like an infinity pool leading out to an actual lake. Gathalion's a smart cookie too, man. Him and Broman, like those two dudes are no schlubs. Gathalion made millions of dollars off a mixer, and had to put minimal effort in to do it. But I think Gathalion was doing just fine before the mixer debacle. Have I met him before? Ko? There were a couple of times, especially when the dad joke was like really hitting its stride. There were a couple of times before the dad joke with Carnage was really leaning into the zeitgeist of our community. That I was toying with the idea of bugging Ko. I want to drop a bomb, but I gotta wait for this to cycle out. I wanted to bug Ko during TwitchCon one year to do a photograph with me where it looked like he was oblivious to the fact that I had murder in my eyes. Okay. I'll wait. It's fine. But the two times I had an opportunity to speak to him, one, we were waiting to board a plane to go to TwitchCon, and it was a layover. So the last thing I wanted to do was catch him on a layover and be like, "Hey man, can I get a photo with you?" And then the next time that I had a chance to talk to him on that trip, we were at a partner party that was packed. It was overpacked. It was a partner party in San Jose where somebody left a door open, like an emergency exit, and the emergency exit became a way that a lot of people added their +1s. At one point, if I remember correctly, Lupo was hiding from people. Like people were getting so aggressive about meeting like the celebrities at that partner party that Lupo was like it was at a children's museum in San Jose. And Clara on her Twitter called it human soup, and that's the best description I've heard for what went on there. It was like human soup. I remember at one point somebody said that that Lupo was like hiding from people, like inside this like paper mache dinosaur that had like a hollowed out back, and he went in there and was like hiding from there, waiting on an Uber to come get him because that whole partner party was a total shit show. So I had an opportunity to bug Ko at that for the, hey, will you give me a photograph that would crack my audience up moment. But I was in the middle of talking to somebody who was very, very nice. Like, she's a lovely woman, and she was in the middle of telling me her breast cancer survival story. And I didn't have it in me to be a rat bastard who was like, she was telling me the story because of Amber's trials and tribulations. And I didn't have it in me to like put my hand to this woman's sternum and be like, if you'll excuse me, there's a famous person I have to go talk to. So those are the only two opportunities I've had to meet Ko, and I didn't feel like either one of them were the right time. Brizzy, what's going on, homie? Hey, Anthony, I'm glad you're here. I have something I want to run by you. I'm thinking about making this a TikTok, but you're mentioned in it, and I want to make sure it's okay with you before I do. San Jose was a shit show. The partner gift backpack didn't meet bag requirements for security, so if they walked out with it, they couldn't get back into the... Yeah, they couldn't get back into the showroom floor. I wasn't gonna put that out there because it specifically stirs the shit, which I don't normally do. It specifically stirs the shit and it mentions your name in it, so the last thing I want to do is like publish that to social media. If you say no, I will happily tank it. But it made me giggle, so I thought at the very least I'd ask for permission instead of forgiveness for sure. Oh yeah, TwitchCon San Jose was a nightmare. If you need a pic for reference. Oh god, yeah, that's great. I can give that to my editor. Shit, let me put that in Discord so I have it. For reference. Alright, good. Honestly, if he were to get a hold of it and decide to drag me on it, it would do nothing but good for me. Did I just get gnomed? Kinda. Ew. Ew. I mean, I'll get it, but, like, still, ew. Down we go. We're just going to blue babies. So this is a relatively straightforward run. Ah, Brizzy, I missed your face, man. That Tribes of Midgard thing was a mixed blessing. It was a mixed blessing because it made me realize that I still very much miss hanging out with you and playing video games with you. But it also meant that we actually got, like, a brief moment to hang out. Oh, wow, you're in the middle of your subathon. Never mind. I don't know exactly what I'm expecting to get out of this. Stop it, you fool. I'm just gonna kill him. I'm doing a bunch of one-offs that I owe people because we've gone from like big narrative story to big narrative story. I say big, but like we went from Ori 1 to Ori 2, and we're about to jump into my first ever playthrough of Horizon Zero Dawn, which I understand is a very long playthrough. So we're knocking out a series of one-offs. And I owe chat one day of Tarkov. But you're, you know, you're in a very entertaining roguelike subathon, and I don't want to ask you to break off of that for me, for Tarky. I'd actually like a tiers upgrade if I'm being honest. Sorry, shitty PhD. Boy, you oohing after you got Star of Bethlehem. Miss you, bud. One of those games coming up is Gunfire Reborn. If you want to join me, it's no pressure. Oh, Neptune, Tarkov, I uninstalled that mess. I unofficially escaped. I beat the game. I won't lie to you. That day of Tarkov was paid for before it kind of seemed to come apart.
Of the newest denizen of the cave.
Because, like, Justin doesn't seem to really be enjoying it either. By the way, High Class Trailer Trash, I'm sorry, 16 minutes ago, I've been real chatty here recently, and it's meant that I've been missing stuff. High Class Trailer Trash, tier 1 for 6 months, thank you so much. And then Kilo comes in, tier 1 for a half a year. Oh, I'm sorry, resubs for a half a year. I don't know, that reads funny. Kilo resubscribed for 6 months at tier 1, they've been subscribed for 32 months. Kilo, thank you so much. Maybe they resubbed for a half a year at tier 1 after doing 32 months prior. Pause is a long time Tarkov player. I dropped it into Justin. I'll ding Deadpine about it too. I don't want to make people that I've never really spent an inordinate amount of time playing video games with. Like, I don't want to get in like Pause's ear. I don't want to get in like you know. If it's people that I don't know, then I don't want to get in their ear and bug them about it to help me fulfill one day that I got paid to do that they didn't. Yeah, DP's a Tarky god. Bree would carry me, I'm sure. How long are your years on Planet Taffy? Holy shit. Yeah, that day of Tarkov got paid for so long ago that it was back when... It was actually back close to when you and me and Deadpine played together. It was that long ago. And it's just like, I've been putting it off, and then I was finally at a place where I felt like I could play it. And then you and Justin both were just like, man, Tarkov is not fun this time around. And I was like, uh-oh. Well, now I really don't want to play it, but I kind of want to get it struck from the ledger. I was in university when I started watching y'all playing Tarky with Deadpine Pog. I really enjoyed Tarkov the one time that we played it. It's really intense. The irony, though, for me, is that even after playing it and really enjoying it, I still feel like watching it is like watching paint dry. Even after playing it once and realizing that there's a lot to enjoy there, as somebody who is playing the game, I still think it's dull. It's dull to watch. But somebody shipped a couple $100. I have one viewer named Cammy that I love to point out to, like I love to point her out every time, who started watching me in middle school and now is at MIT. It makes me feel both proud and old simultaneously. Just do that. I enjoy watching full-time Tarkov dick on everyone, but then they get tapped through the 6 helmets by scavs, and that's enough for me to never go back. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it wasn't quite like PUBG where like you'd have good runs, you'd have bad runs. Generally speaking, I'd see people, yeah, that I thought of as like really, like people I knew had sunk thousands of hours in that game, and they'd be in around for like a couple of minutes or even a couple seconds, and it would just go sideways and they'd be back at the loading screen. I was just like, I don't get it. They're at MIT because of your stream. I'll say that every time. I'll say this, chat. The Tarkov streams that we had were like, I haven't been to the shop yet. The Tarkov stream that we had was like bananas. It was incredibly stressful. At one point, it was a TWP, and Deadpine and Brizzy kitted me out with really expensive gear that I clearly had not earned. And as we were sitting there kidding me out, somebody walked up and shot everyone, like, everyone except Brizzy, who was away doing something. Brizzy was off doing something, and Deadpine and TWP got one tap, and were just instantly dead. And then I was just standing completely still inside a bush. And as I was standing there inside the bush, the guy who killed them walked up to loot them, and I shot him and hit him with a grenade and killed him. And Brizzy came back to me like shaking and just being like, there's this guy, he showed up, our friends are dead. And he's like, all right, buddy, why don't you just slow down and tell me what happened? I'm like, I can't calm down, Brizzy. Deadpine and TWP are dead. They're dead. They were here 1 minute, and then they were dead the next. What don't you get about that? He's like, yeah, buddy, war is hell. I need you to pull it together. I only get to deal with the devil here? Well, I don't want any of this garbage. Well, that's bullshit. No, let's set that right back down. Yeah, that entire day was like super intense. Like I felt like genuinely tired by the time that was done. And I felt like it was entertaining enough. But all that being said, I have not been in a monster rush to go back, if I'm being honest. Just to get it out of the item pool, I guess. Oh my god. All right, can I bomb this guy now? Is that okay with you, Saturn? Damn. We'll come down here, world card, and be on our merry way. Sleeper. We got kind of a weird run going on. I got an early ladder, angelic ladder, that is not really paying dividends. It's working fine, but I'd be hard-pressed to call it really successful at the moment. We haven't seen a damage upgrade. I don't think we've seen a damage upgrade. Oh no, the Holy Light was the, Holy Crown, Blue Crown. That son of a bitch. That was the last item we saw that I really felt like helped our odds of winning based on upping our damage output.
Wheel of Fortune.
Gross. Yeah, Crown of Light. Crown of Light's amazing. That was like the last time I felt like we had a really good item going. The fuck? I forgot where that could possibly go. I'm a little nervous about just jumping into a portal if I don't know where it goes. Every time the portal sucks up an item, it spawns a blue attack fly for you. It creates a portal that takes you to a room that's never been explored. If all rooms have been explored, then the portal does nothing. Neat. Listen, I've been reading the Witcher books, man. If Geralt is smart enough to be leery about portals, even ones that Yennefer makes, then by God, I am smart enough to be leery about portals. Especially if Yennefer doesn't make them for me. Just waiting for these shots to go away so I can drop a bomb and not feel bad about it. Yeah, season 2's coming. The anime was pretty good. You guys have had a chance, like not all of you, but those of you that we talked about it the other day have had a chance to watch the anime that came out. I don't think it's spoiling anything to say that the anime is based on young Vesemir, but the anime was very intense. It was very intense, and I found it to be very enjoyable. I don't know if it'll take me to the super duper secret room. I'm gonna be real with you here. I'm not willing to find out. Like, I'm not willing to do this entire floor to find out. I think even with this run as janky as it is, I could win with this run as it exists. So I'm not really willing to do the entire floor, you know? Yeah, there's a single anime movie that came out that's called Nightmare of the Wolf. Give me health. And predictably, the Witcher fandom seems to be crapping all over the anime. I don't give a shit what they think. Fucking let those sad fuckers be sad fuckers, you know? The Witcher fandom's why we can't have anything nice. Yo, hematemesis. Right on time. Yeah, hard to imagine an internet fandom crapping all over the IP that drew them together. Yeah, it came out a couple days ago. God, the Star Wars fandom. Ugh. They've reached like Rick and Morty fandom status. They are something else. The Far From Home trailer looked fun. I probably watched that 2 or 3 times yesterday. Are we done? There we go. That's got to be Tears, right? I would imagine. Has to be Tears. It's range. Get the fuck out of here. My range is what needs fixed, game. No one hates the Star Wars fandom as much as the Star Wars fandom. Doctor Who fandom? If there wasn't quite so much fucking misogyny. In the Doctor Who fandom, I don't think it would be all that bad. The thing is if their point, if the fandom's point in the Doctor Who-niverse is that the writing and show running for Jodie Whittaker's Doctor has been bad, they absolutely have a point. But the problem is a lot of them are trying to use the fact that the show running and the writing has been bad as an excuse to be like, oh, well, I mean, like, also women suck. And it's like, yeah, you can't just shoehorn that in at the last minute. Just because your first point was valid doesn't mean that you're suddenly vindicated and that women suck. Yeah, that's the internet these days, though. Pick a topic and instantly fill it up with misogyny. Do you catch the villains in the trailer? I mean, yeah, that's, we've been making our boys I've been forcing my children to watch Spider-Man movies. But we've been forcing our boys to watch, like, the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. They just saw The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Garfield's second Spider-Man. We had to explain to them the awful way in which Gwen Stacy dies in that movie. Because it's not readily apparent to little boys why all of a sudden the love interest is, you know, limp and lifeless in his hands when she was caught by his web the same way that every other bystander's ever been caught by his web. We gotta explain to them what whiplash does to the human neck. Come on now. Let's say I want this deal with the angel. Hold on. Steady. God, these are terrible deals with the angel. How could they all be so bad? Yeah, they've seen all the Tom Hollands. Yeah, poor Gwen Stacy. Physics exists just for her. Alfred Molina's so good. Yeah. I was so excited to see Alfred Molina. I mean, we all knew what was going down, but watching the acting for Jodie has been awesome, but the writing's been terrible. Very great. You over the head, SJW. Don't get me wrong. All the social justice, but goddamn, yeah, it's the writing for Jodie Whittaker's been terrible. Chibnall's leaving, which is good for us. Soul lock it. Well, fuck, man. I can't really do a whole lot with soul lock it right now. I liked Whitaker in Broadchurch. I've liked her acting. I liked Chibnall's show running in Broadchurch, but he is ass terrible running Doctor Who, and his writers have been, to say hot and cold, it feels real generous. The show arcs have been terrible. The show has just been robbed of all of its mirth.
Hey man, those are bits.
Oh, Brizzy was here earlier, Noah. Brizzy was here earlier, and I was asking for permission to use the Brizzy hanging with Dr. Disrespect clip on TikTok. I didn't want to put out something that was intentionally shit-stirring that involved him without asking him if it was okay to do it. And so he gave me a frame of reference. Yeah, literally potentially the worst series of Angel Room items I've ever seen on a run. With the exception of BFF Holy Water, that's exceptionally good. When will you be starting Horizon Zero Dawn? Probably Monday. Also, how can we offer gameplay advice? I don't want a backseat, but I don't. Generally speaking, we run it through the mods. We find what we'll normally do is we'll find a mod who's played the game before, and they become kind of the filter. Or we find people who have played Horizon Zero Dawn before, who have agreed to sort of just spend a good amount of time here during the playthrough, and those people agree to be the filter through which the information gets run. So. Yeah, so ultimately, it's use your best discretion. Is that ultimately, if you're apprehensive, you're like, man, I want to say this to Taffy, but I'm terrified he's gonna yell at me for backseating. Quality of life tips are okay. If it's like, yo, he doesn't know that the left bumper does a thing. Like, I played a day of Hitman yesterday and didn't know that I had Hitman vision until the very end. And they're like, yeah, you should have known that early on. Sorry, man. But at the same time, like, yeah, Reedy makes a good point, is that if I make the same mistakes that everybody else made, then you get to experience watching me process the same level of grief and regret that you felt. Was like, oh man, I didn't realize, and I also didn't realize that the right bumper did that for you until way too late. I'm glad that Taffy had to suffer the same setback that I did. I have no idea what that card was. Whoops, I'm over here now. Yeah, no, we 100% need to go through and grab Hitman clips to go up on TikTok, to be sure. I didn't do that with I was terrified that yesterday was going to be boring. Because I just, like, a desire to play stealth games does not live inside me. But, especially with some of the tech issues we had early on. But all that being said, there was some very funny, high-quality things that happened in yesterday's Hitman stream. That, honestly, I'm just like, yeah, that justified the entire day. Fast travel in Red Dead Redemption 1. Yeah, stuff like that. Like, ultimately, if we reach a point where it's like, man, Taffy doesn't realize that he's wasting time that he doesn't have to waste where we could be engaging in content. Tell me that there's fast travel, and that the game never explains that there's fast travel. But if, like, you know, if it's like, oh man, does he not realize that you're supposed to use that crafting material to blank if you want to min-max? Quality of life stuff is okay, but like min-maxy stuff or things that I wouldn't otherwise know without learning through trial and error is not okay. There's a big win. Yo, I can eat food. Speaking of food. Yeah, that's true. Apocalyptic makes a terrific point too, is that we have what we call Breath of the Wild moments. Where I break the game and do stuff despite the fact that it clearly doesn't want me to. but sometimes I just brute force stuff and it works, and it's actually kind of fun to watch.